I spent literally all winter without getting sick. The moment I decide to make a video, the universe just goes, bam, you're gonna get a cold. So before I say anything, I'm really sorry about the nature of my voice in this video. Just wanted to put it out there. Hello there, fellow viewer. My name is Gabriel, and today I am finally breaking my booktube slumber to bring you all the books that I got in May. I got 11 books this month, and that is a historic happening. That is something that I genuinely thought I was never going to get to say. Out of those 11, 9 I bought myself. 9 books. That's crazy. 9. I bought 9 books this month. I'm so happy that I finally get to say that. I have read some of them, but I'm not going to dwell too much, I hope, on what I thought of them. I will be leaving that to my May and June wrap-up, so stay tuned, I guess. If you've been wondering where I've been and what I've been doing, so far 2016 has literally been school and the violin. Yeah, I did not read almost anything at all until this month of May. That is why I haven't really been uploading. But now, I have some books that I'm going to show you, so I hope you enjoy. The first 2 books were gifts from my dad. He came back from Malaysia, and of course he bought books. The first one is one I am dying to read, and that is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Not only do I have this book in my hands, but I have a signed copy of Queen of Shadows in my hand. It literally says, "To Gabriel," and I was so ecstatic that my dad got to make it to a signing that Sarah J. Maas had in the city in which he lived. I literally freaked out when he sent me the photo and the video. It was just so amazing. I'm not going to waste any time talking about Throne of Glass because you have most definitely seen these books around. Let me tell you, the hype is worth it. We'll also have to tell you that to me, the books got so much better after the first one. So if the first one didn't captivate you as you thought it was going to, definitely keep going. These books are amazing. I am going to reread Air of Fire because I feel the need to reread that book before jumping into Queen of Shadows. The other book he got me was A Surprise, Hunger by Michael Grant. This is the second book in his Gone series, which I have seen sporadically. It's shown up quite a bit on Goodreads. This series tells a story of a village where suddenly every adult disappears, hence the title Gone. Kids up until the age of 17, I think, suddenly get left behind. I'm guessing this is a story of how they survive and how they make it. Again, this is the second book in the series. I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to it, but I am quite interested. This is a middle grade book, and it's literally 600 pages long. Where were these extremely lengthy reads when I was in middle grade? Next, I'm going to show you the 9 books that I bought this month. The first 2 are fantasy novels that I just could not wait to get my hands on. The first has been out for quite some time now, and it is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. As soon as I heard about the fact that she was going to write another book in the Grishaverse, I just flipped. I knew I had to read it. I haven't yet finished the Grisha trilogy. Looking into myself, I really don't feel that urge to finish it, but I knew that I really desperately wanted to read Six of Crows because, again, it is set in the Grishaverse, and the Grishaverse is possibly, affirmatively, my favorite young adult fantasy world. I might be a little bit biased because I love everything that has to do with Russia, and this world is largely inspired by Tsarist Russia. The world, again, is amazing. I'm so glad that I got this edition with the black pages. I thought that was going to be a limited thing. Then I opened the package and it's gorgeous. So many of the books I got are so beautiful. Next is another fantasy, quite like Six of Crows, I believe, and that is The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. This is another book that as soon as I knew that this book existed, that it was going to be a thing in the real world, I had to get it. I pre-ordered it and it arrived, and I flew past this book. Cover is absolutely beautiful. I love it. Very quickly, so you can just get the idea of what this book is about. This book is set in actual Imperial Russia, so this is set in the real world. In the book, throughout the ages, magic has been integrated into people's lives until it suddenly started disappearing. The book chronicles the story of 2 magic wielders, a rare breed in this world, who must fight to the death, magically duel to the death, in order to find out who is going to be the next imperial enchanter to the Tsar of Russia, and just let that sink in. Of course, feelings start to arise between the competitors. My favorite thing was definitely the world building. Miss Skye just writes in the way that you are in St. Petersburg. You are on the canals of the city. I recommend it if you like fantasy in general, and if you love, just like me, that monarchy feel. Not only does it have that castle and that palace and that regal atmosphere, but it's set in Imperial Russia again, so I might be completely biased, but proudly so. All of the following books that I'm about to show you have something in common, and that is they have a gay protagonist. They're all gay contemporaries. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, and you know that I have avoided this genre for the longest of time due to what I call the Fault in Our Star syndrome. The Fault in Our Star syndrome is nothing more than the fact that everyone was loving this book so goddamn much that I went into it thinking that it was going to change my life, that it was going to be this amazing thing. It literally flatlined. The Fault in Our Stars was a book that I did not enjoy, not because of the book in itself, but because everyone was saying how masterful the book had been written, and so I was extremely disappointed with The Fault in Our Stars, which is undoubtedly the biggest and one of the most recognized young adult contemporaries in the world. And so I just said, if I didn't quite enjoy this book that so many other people loved, then maybe the genre just isn't for me. And so I put out contemporaries for the longest of time. But then, because of the overwhelming amount of things that have been happening in my life, I decided to go and search and look for some gay contemporary reads because I really wanted to start reading these books. First book I'm going to show you is the one I'm most dreading talking about. I read the summary for this book and I just immediately knew that I had to read this book. This is Honesty by Seth King. Just a brief parenthesis. This paperback is beautiful. This is one of those books that just demands to be grabbed and felt and read. It's beautiful in the physical sense, and it's beautiful in every other aspect. I assure you that if I start talking about this book now, I will not shut up, so please stay tuned for my May wrap-up, in which I intend to try and articulate some thoughts about this book because it was really, really masterful. This book takes place in the southern United States, where a closeted teenager is finally starting to accept himself and to let himself feel what he can't help but feel. He spends his life with fiction, with books, and with television shows, and then one day he just meets a guy. It literally says in the summary of the book that he appears to have walked off the pages of a book. This is a story of how they meet and how they get to know each other and how they fall in love with each other and how much their lives change because of each other, how scarred the protagonist becomes. It is loosely based on the author's personal experiences, so it just makes it that much harder. The book isn't just sad, the book is completely heartbreaking. It leaves a deep ache in your soul. I'm not kidding. I cried so goddamn hard. If I really thought about the characters in the story right now, I would probably burst into tears. So it is just, it's breathtaking. The next book I have to show you is The Great American Whatever by Team Federle. Sorry. Stupid little me went and read a chapter sampler for this and was immediately enthralled by the character's story. I had to go and buy the book. Also following the perspective of a gay protagonist, not so out of the closet quite yet. This also deals with the loss of a family member, not only a family member, but one he was really close to. He's been completely crushed by the events that have taken place in his life, and it is about him getting out of that dark place with the help of his best friend, and obviously a love interest, so I'm really excited to get. Then I have another book that I have already read, and that is Fan Art by Sarah Tregay. Hopefully that's how I pronounce it. This one is also about a closeted teenager, but one who starts to fall in love with his best friend. Really exceptional. I really like this book. I actually found myself really liking this story, really liking this book in general. The story floats really well, and I would recommend it if you enjoyed Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, which I also bought this month, so this one I bought on ebook though, because coming off of Honesty, I needed something to perk myself up. Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda also chronicles a gay closeted teenager. He's made this friend online and they keep talking through emails, and throughout the book he grows extremely attached to this other boy, and apparently this other boy also grows attached to him. Not only does it deal with their relationship, but I really like the friendship aspect of the book. While this is going on, he is also having some trouble with his friends and with everything that's going on between them. It is a fun read. It's another one that just floats right by, and I recommend it if you're looking for a very, very light and very fun contemporary read. Next I have More Happy Than Not by Silvera, and this is a book that I'm pretty sure you've seen around. I'm expecting this book to be honesty level heartbreaking. That's why I'm leaving The Great American Whatever for the end, because I know that I'm going to need something after More Happy Than Not. The only thing I know about this book is that it follows a troubled teenager growing up in the Bronx, and suddenly this company comes out with a product that makes you forget your memories, quite possibly makes you forget how you feel. I'm not entirely sure about that. But he isn't okay with the fact that he is falling in love with another guy, I believe. Don't quote me on this. And so he seriously considers erasing his memory. I've heard really good things about this book, so I really can't wait to read it. Another book that I have to show you is one I loved so goddamn much, and that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is undoubtedly, you've seen this around. This is my first Rainbow Rowell book. I have not read Fangirl or Eleanor and Park or Attachments, but I picked up Carry On. Carry On is supposed to be Kath's fanfiction of the Simon Snow and Basildon pitch. I hadn't read Fangirl, so I had no idea what to expect, and let me tell you, this book is fantastic. I loved it so much. Carry On tells the story of Simon Snow, who, if you've read Fangirl, you already know, is this chosen one to end this unimaginably evil threat to his magic school. He's been prophesied to end this evil. In his life, he has never felt like this person who will, in fact, defeat this evil. In the midst of all of this, he has some friends, and he has this amazingly dreamy roommate called Baz, and it is about Baz and Simon, but it is just about so much more as well. It feels like a fantasy book, but it reads like a contemporary, so if you like fantasy, if you like Harry Potter, I guess, and if you like contemporaries, you should just drop everything and read this book, because it is so good. Next, I have two books that I don't think I will ever separate in my mind. I read them back to back. First one is I Will Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This book, just, you guys, it is so good. I found myself liking it so much. This is definitely more than just a gay contemporary book. This follows two twins. It is told from their point of view at two different stages of their lives. So we have Noah's point of view is when they're younger, and then Jude's point of view is when they're older. It tells the story of how they grew apart and how they must grow back together again. They're dealing with so many family problems and with feelings they don't expect to be feeling. It is a very complex and really well written book. I plan on talking a little bit more about it in my May wrap up. It is a book worth the hype. And the last book I have to show you here is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. And I almost could not say that title without tearing up, because this book was amazing. I'm still kind of mind blown at how much I love this book and how fast this book went by. I read this in a day. Not only in a day, but in a very busy day, in a day where I would not expect to finish a whole book. It was just that good. I'm not really sure whether I can say this is a gay contemporary read, because at its essence, it's really not. It's just like I'll Give You the Sun. You have that element in the story, but it takes a step back and it lets so many other things come to the front. It deals with the family aspect. It deals with the complexity that is a family, and it deals with two boys finding themselves in each other. And I'm at a complete loss for words. I really recommend you read this book. I went on Goodreads today to mark it as read, and I found out that there was going to be a sequel. I was so ecstatic. I am still so excited that I'm going to get to see these two characters again, because when you dive into any of the gay contemporaries that I show here today, you go in with the mentality that, okay, this is going to be it. I'm not going to get to revisit these characters, so just savor each moment with them. And so of course I went into Aristotle and Dante with this same mentality, savoring each moment with them. And then finding out that I'm going to get more of these characters, I am so happy. So those are all the books that I got in the month of May. Again, so many. I'm so happy. So again, if you would like to know the way I felt about some of the books that are in here, which I read in May, please stay tuned for my May wrap up. Pretty sure I'm going to repeat myself in a lot of what I say, because I'm not sure what I said in this video. I think I'll have a little bit more freedom to talk about a lot of things. So yes, these are the books I got this month. I hope everything has been okay with every single one of you guys, which I haven't talked to in so long. So yes, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you stay tuned for my next videos. Remember to keep your day a fairly, extremely bookish one. Goodbye!